Exposed, the shocking moment Noah's curse on his son revealed God's divine plan for redemption. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the heavens had opened wide, releasing torrents of rain that censured the earth with judgment. Yet amidst the swirling chaos, one man stood, just and righteous Noah, chosen by God to preserve life upon the face of the earth. As the last echoes of the great flood ebbed away, the ark rested atop the mountains of Ararat, and Noah emerged onto the dry land with profound gratitude. Hope filled his heart as sunlight kissed the newly cleansed earth, a promise of renewal wrapped in the covenant of God. Never again would he flood the earth. Noah's 3 sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth stood at his side, gazing out over the fresh landscape made anew. Each son bore the mark of the promise Noah had endeavored to instill within them, a legacy of faith. They were the vessels through which God's plan would continue, yet unbeknownst to Noah, a shadow loomed, ready to fracture the bond of their newfound beginning. Soon after the flood's withdrawal, Noah cultivated the earth, planting vineyards that would bear fruit in abundance. One day, as the sun slipped below the horizon, he rejoiced in the blessings of the harvest. In his jubilance, he took of the wine and drank deeply. Succumbing to its effects, he lay uncovered in his tent. With the veil of drunkenness draped over him, his vulnerability starkly contrasted the divine call he had received. Ham, the youngest, entered the tent, driven by impulse. His eyes fell upon his father's nakedness, an affront that should have been met with respect. Instead of covering his father's shame, Ham rushed forth, his voice ringing out to his brothers, "Come, see our father's disgrace." This dishonor rippled through the sanctity of family ties, threatening the very fabric of their covenant. In stark contrast, Shem and Japheth exhibited honor where Ham had not. Covering their eyes, they walked backward, a garment held tightly between them as they shielded their father. Their actions resonated with the heart of God, demonstrating the call to honor one's parents, even amidst their failings. Their footsteps were deliberate, their hearts beating in rhythm with the values Noah had taught them. When Noah awoke, clarity returned, and the weight of his actions bore heavily upon him. He realized that Ham's act was not just a transgression but a profound betrayal that could echo through generations. In a moment of divine revelation and righteous anger, Noah declared a curse upon Canaan, Ham's son, "Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be to his brethren." What seemed a mere family breach contained within it ominous prophetic implications, shaping the history of nations. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful stories from Scripture. Hit the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share it with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed by how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. This declaration would not simply mark the end of a familial conflict but would usher in a ripple of divine justice woven into the tapestry of history. As generations unfolded, the curse of Canaan foreshadowed a greater narrative fulfilling God's sovereign plan. Crucial moments where nations would rise and fall under divine judgment. The newly renewed earth lay beneath Noah's feet, yet within their midst was a question that resided heavy with implications. How could darkness from one man's falter illuminate the pathway to redemption for others? With the very foundations of their family forever altered, Noah's legacy beckoned for exploration, whispering of divine mystery. Would they transcend this breach and fulfill God's intricate plans, or would they succumb to sorrow? As night fell over the cradle of this new world, the story remained poised on the edge of profound revelation, inviting the hearts of generations to seek hope amid human frailty. And so the days passed, and the earth became populated once more. Noah, the man of God, nurtured the vineyard, cultivating the soil with care. As he toiled, the legacy of his disgrace lingered in the air, a reminder of the frailty of man. Echoing the words of his curse, Shem and Japheth maintained the integrity of their family, seeking to lead with honor. They gathered with their father often, encouraging him and learning the ways of righteousness. The lessons of humility and reverence stood as a beacon amid the encroaching darkness. But Ham, burdened by the weight of his actions and the curse upon his son Canaan, wandered the land restlessly. In his heart, rebellion festered, and he spoke ill of his father among the villagers. What power does this older man have? He would scoff, is he not as frail as the grapevine he tends? Let us seek our own strength, for there is no blessing left for us. And many listened, heart swayed by his contempt, yet God's hand moved quietly among them, unseen but active. He placed a seed of unease within Ham's heart, and as days turned into months, his prosperity waned and returned naught but emptiness. The vineyards that should have flourished with the promise of blessing fell barren, as if the very ground held a grudge against him. Meanwhile, Shem and Japheth saw their inheritance thrive, their hearts faithful to the path laid out by their father. As fate would have it, the time drew near for Noah to speak with his sons again. One fateful evening, as shadows danced beneath the stars, he gathered them close, their expressions reflecting a mix of pride and unease. The weight of the curse still gripped their family, an unspoken gloom hanging in the night air. "My sons," Noah began, his voice steady yet somber, "we are but custodians of God's covenant. Let our choices today define our tomorrow. Let us not succumb to bitterness, for it begets sorrow." But the heart of Ham grew restless, and amid his brother's resolve, he sought a way to grasp what he believed was rightfully his. "Father," he challenged with vehemence, "what honor do I hold being cursed? Shall I labor for you to inherit the earth while I languish?" "No." Shem interjected, his gaze stern, "you must recognize the weight of your actions. The words spoken have meaning beyond the moment." Noah's gaze fell upon Ham, piercing through the layers of rebellion. "You tread perilously, Ham. Repentance is the only path from this curse. Turn and honor the name of your father, and healing may yet be found." Yet Ham entered deeper into despair, not yielding to the repentance Noah had pleaded for. He soon began to associate with those who dwelt in the low places of the earth, forging alliances with those who rejected God's authority. And so, the lineage of Canaan was shaped by those who scorned the principles of righteousness, paving a way of decay that would ripen in nations to come. Unbeknownst to Ham, the curse would reverberate through time, echoing the truth of God's justice and mercy intertwined. The children born of Canaan grew fierce yet unblessed, and the shadow of their forefathers' defiance trailed behind them. In this new dawn, however, the mysterious workings of God intertwined with threads of grace. For though Ham had turned from the path of life, the remnant of Shem would rise, hidden yet powerful, a journey that would weave God's greater plan for redemption through the tapestry of generations to unfold. What began as a dark moment steeped in familial strife teetered on the brink of divine revelation. Would the lineage of Shem bring forth the promised hope? For within this tangled history, the flames of redemption flickered, waiting for the appointed moment of revelation when God's plan would shine brightly, illuminating the way for his chosen people. As the seasons turned and the earth bore witness to the struggles of its inhabitants, a shadow loomed over the hearts of Noah's sons. Shem and Japheth remained steadfast in their devotion, but Ham's spirit wandered further into the depths of darkness. Day by day, whispers of discontent filled the air where he tread, drawing a circle of ill will around him. Those who sought power and status found in Ham a kindred spirit, someone who would help them plot against the way of their forefather. "Come," Ham would incite, his voice a siren call, "let us rise against the shackles of tradition and claim our own dominion. We shall carve a name for ourselves that is whispered in the halls of greatness." And thus, wicked plans germinated among them, like weeds in a field meant for harvest. Little did they know, however, that the hand of God was not idle, as it prepared to turn the hearts of those destined for his purpose toward a greater inheritance. Meanwhile, Noah learned of these gatherings, for the Spirit of God stirred in him. He prayed fervently, seeking wisdom from the Creator of all creation. One twilight hour, he beseeched the Lord, "O God of my fathers, watch over my sons, shield them from the snares that ensnare the heart of man." In his soul, he sensed the weight of the curse upon Ham was far more than a mere family conflict. It was a harbinger entwined in the very fabric of humanity's future. Amidst the rising tensions loomed a day of confrontation. Noah called forth his remaining sons, and through trembling lips he spoke, "Gather yourselves, for the destiny of our lineage shall not be determined by the bitterness of one but by the faithfulness of many. We must strengthen our bond, for darkness seeks to consume what remains of our family, as it consumed the world before. In that moment, the resolve within Shem and Japheth deepened. Their eyes reflected the weight of their father's declaration, affirming their commitment to uphold the covenant they shared with the Almighty. Yet, Ham, lost in the mire of his resentment, scoffed at their unity. "You lack the vision to gamble upon the unknown. The land, with its riches, sings praises to those brave enough to seize power. What can you create from the ashes of a curse?" But before another word escaped his lips, the heavens unsettled, and thunder rumbled like the roar of a lion. A blinding light broke forth across the firmament, lighting the path to the ancient promise. All were silenced as the air seemed thick with anticipation, charged with God's presence. "Enough!" thundered a voice not heard, yet palpable in their hearts. "I will raise up a remnant that shall reveal my glory to the nations. While Ham walks in darkness, I shall light the path of Shem. From this lineage, a blessing shall arise, one that will bless the entire earth." With each proclamation, the ground shook beneath them, resonating with a divine purpose far beyond the grasp of mankind. Shem and Japheth, their breaths held in awe, understood in that moment the power of their heritage. Hope flickered where darkness threatened to prevail. They would not be masters over a fleeting dominion, rather, they were chosen for an eternal legacy. As night fell thick around them, Ham's heart turned colder, and with every step away from his father's house, he charted his cursed course, but all was unfolding according to a divine narrative yet to reveal its fullness. A hidden truth was at work, one that would forge a new covenant in the shadows of failure, a plan that would not only secure the future for Shem but would one day draw all nations to its light. Thus, the sun set on that ominous evening, the promise of revelation still cloaked in mystery, as each heart awaited the appointed day when God's sovereign plan would burst forth like dawn scattering the night. As dawn approached, the sun pierced the horizon, casting a golden glow upon the earth, yet within Noah's household, shadows of uncertainty loomed. Noah, troubled by the heart of his son Ham, still felt the tremors of divine utterance within his spirit. As he rose to greet the day, he knew not what was unraveling within the hearts of his sons. Shem and Japheth, now fortified by their father's words, gathered amidst the early light, their faces reflecting an earnestness born of purpose. They approached their father, their voices unified in strength. "Father, we cannot stand idle while darkness encroaches. We must seek the Lord's guidance and reaffirm our covenant with him. What shall be our course?" Noah, heart heavy yet resolute, raised his hands and implored God for wisdom. "O Lord, show me the path we must take to protect our lineage and honor your name." The heavens responded not with thunder but with a calm assurance. In that moment, Noah received a vision, a picture of hope and a future yet to come. He saw nations rising from the dust, singing songs of joy and deliverance. A promise surged in his soul, though he wrestled with the foreboding fate of Ham. With renewed fervor, he spoke, "We shall build an altar, and there offer our lives in service to the Almighty, that his favor may dwell upon us and our generations forever." As they prepared the altar, Ham, now estranged and embittered, lingered in the shadows, casting spiteful glances toward his brothers. His heart churned with bitterness, and a voice, haunting and persuasive, stirred within him, whispering doubts and sowing discord. "You are the rightful heir to greatness, yet you squander it in the name of faith. Rise up and claim what is yours. Let not the chains of tradition bind you." Noah, sensing the tumultuous spirit in his son, turned his gaze towards him, calling out, "Ham, my son, return while there is still time. Why seek the path of destruction when the arms of the Father await the repentant heart? The darkness offers only sorrow, while redemption is the gift of a loving God." Yet Ham's countenance hardened, and he laughed derisively. "You speak of redemption while living in the shadow of a curse. It is I who shall reshape destiny, not you." And he stormed away, the weight of his words steeped in a sorrowful defiance. The fire kindled upon the altar, rising like incense before the Lord, and Noah, in deep intercession, poured out his heart for all his sons. "O God, let your mercy abound even in judgment. For I fear for Ham, that he may choose the way of ruin. Yet I trust in your sovereign will, for you bring good even from our failures." As the smoke ascended, the very air trembled, and a divine presence enveloped them. "Fear not, Noah, for I am with you. I shall bring forth a new beginning from the darkest of places. Through Shem, the nations shall be blessed, from Ham's folly shall arise lessons of mercy and grace." With a final pulse of power, the voice echoed in Noah's heart as a seed of understanding took root. God's intricate weaving of redemption was far mightier than man's rebellion. In that sacred moment, hope mingled with foreboding, for the path ahead remained shrouded in mystery. Yet in their unwavering faith, Shem and Japheth embraced the mantle placed upon them, ready to face the trials yet to come. Noah's prayer lingered in the air, a divine promise yet unfolding: "As the nations arise and fall, my Lord, may your light pierce each shadow. For from this family, your redemptive purpose shall reach even to the ends of the earth." And as the sun crested into the heavens, illuminating the path of the chosen, an underlying truth awaited revelation, a truth that would shake the very foundations of humanity, reshaping the hearts of many. And it came to pass, as the day drew near to its close, that Noah's heart remained steadfast in prayer, beseeching the Lord for his weary family. His sons, while dutiful and earnest, bore the weight of their brother's rebellion, and a pall of concern lay heavily upon their spirits. In the twilight glow, the flickering flames of the altar mirrored the turmoil among them. "Father," Shem implored, "will you not call him back? His soul is ensnared by malice, and we fear he walks toward destruction. What can we do if he turns away from the path of righteousness?" Noah lifted his head, for he felt the tempest within Ham's heart resonate with the cries of his own soul. "My sons, the spirit of darkness rages fierce in him, yet we must not lose hope. As you see the fire before you, though it consumes, its embers can offer warmth and light. We too must be radiant in love and extend our arms toward our brother who has lost his way." Thus, Noah sent forth his voice, raising supplications for Ham. He spoke of mercy, of grace cascading like rain upon a parched land. Yet the wind howled through the trees as if mocking his prayer, and a shadow moved away from the hearth toward the horizon. In a hidden place, far from the altar and their unity, Ham wandered in violent thoughts. "My father may speak of forgiveness, but such a gift is but a chain," he whispered to himself. "The idols of power and glory await, the laughter of nations shall echo my name, not the whispers of obedience." As the sun yielded to the night, a darkness deeper than the absence of light enveloped Ham. The mountains cast long shadows, and he felt the breath of despair nipping at his heels. It was then that the voice of the Lord cut through the pressing gloom, as if to remind him of the covenant that had been spoken. "Ham, son of Noah, why do you flee from my light? Have I not chosen your lineage for blessing? Even in your rebellion, I stand poised to redeem. Yet, should you turn your heart to stone, the fruits of shame shall be your legacy." In his heart, Ham struggled. He felt the pangs of divine pursuit, yet he sought refuge in defiance. "I shall not yield." He cried into the vastness, and the echo of his rebellion tremored through the created order. Meanwhile, Noah did not cease his intercessions. The altar, aflame, became a beacon of hope. The smoke spiraled upward, and the prayers of the righteous ascended before the throne of grace. "O Lord, let mercy prevail over judgment. For from the heart of darkness may yet emerge a light, a flicker of your sovereign plan." As the dawn approached, Noah felt the presence of the Almighty surging within him. "Be prepared," the voice assured him, "for the time shall come when Ham's heart may soften, and through the very depths of his despair, the world shall witness my grace. For redemption is birthed from brokenness." In that sacred moment, an understanding filled Noah's heart. The struggle of his son was not without purpose. In Ham's potential for ruin lay the profound depths of God's mercy waiting to unfold. The dawn broke beyond the hills, shining brightly, casting away the shadows of the night. Noah roused his family and spoke, "Behold, the Lord's hand is upon us, we are positioned at the brink of a divine unfolding. Trust in his promise, for what we envision today shall bear fruit tomorrow." With hearts aligned in solemn agreement, they regrouped around the altar. A new determination ignited within them, binding the family closer together as they awaited what further acts of God would come. And thus the stage was set, a family straddling between light and darkness, where futures hung in balance and the divine plan yet remained cloaked in mystery. For the paths they walked would soon reveal a truth of immense consequence, for God had not finished with Ham, his purpose continued to develop, inviting yet another chapter of grace. As the sun's rays broke boldly over the horizon, the new day heralded a moment of deep reflection for Noah and his family. The atmosphere buzzed with an anticipation, a stirring among the hearts of the faithful. Standing together, they felt the very essence of God's promise hovering among them, as if waiting to unfurl like the petals of a flower bound tightly by the night. "Let us prepare ourselves for the coming day," Noah declared, steeped in the authority of a chosen vessel. "For the Lord has spoken to me of trials yet to come, and our unity shall be tested." In his heart, the weight of Ham's defiance pressed heavily. Although Ham had chosen a path shrouded in darkness, Noah believed in the power of intercession. He called upon his sons to gather, their hearts knit together as tightly as the fibers of the ark they had built. "Brothers," he began, "let us not abandon faith in our brother. For even the fiercest storm can yield the clearest waters." Shem and Japheth, though burdened by trepidation, nodded in agreement. "We shall fight for him in prayer," said Shem. "For we know our Father's plea is not in vain." Noah lifted his gaze to the heavens, the scars of sin upon the earth echoing in his spirit. "O Lord, grant me insight into the depths of Ham's heart. Let me understand the torment that drives him from your presence. We seek not vengeance, but redemption for our brother, who wanders lost." The flames of the altar flickered more sharply as he prayed, consuming wood and sacrifice, symbolizing their relentless quest for God's mercy. As the smoke ascended, it became a fragrant offering before the Lord, a plea for Ham to find his way back from the brink of despair. Meanwhile, Ham wandered further into the wilderness, his soul in turmoil. "How can I be bound by the covenant of my father?" he raged to the searing winds. "I shall carve my own destiny." Yet amidst his defiance, a stillness struck him, an inner voice whispering promises long hidden. He paused, gazing at the horizon stretched before him, a canvas of possibilities painted by Creator's hand. Suddenly, the land trembled beneath his feet, the very earth protesting against his rebellion. A deep fear took root within him. "Is the Almighty against me?" he muttered, wrestling with the gnawing doubt. At that moment, a divine presence enveloped him, and he fell to his knees, overwhelmed by a haunting familiarity, the echoes of his father's prayers swirling around him like a tempest. The Lord's voice resonated clearer than ever in that solitary moment. "Ham, my child, the chains you perceive are but illusions. My heart aches for your return. Even in your darkest hour, I will not forsake you." In that profound silence, Ham could hear nothing but the drumbeat of his own heart and the whisper of grace beckoning him to freedom. "Lord, what is your will?" he cried out, his voice trembling under the weight of his surrender. Back at the altar, Noah sensed a shift in the spiritual realm, a stirring as if heaven had begun to respond to his cries. "Behold, my sons, for the Lord is working even now," he proclaimed, a sudden rush of courage flooding his spirit. "There is life yet to be breathed into Ham's bones." Through prayers layered with urgency, Noah's words created a bridge, a path of reconciliation that knotted together heaven and earth. As they prayed, the rawness of anticipation wove through their hearts. Their faith was not idle, for they believed that his hand was poised to act, and in an unexplainable revelation, Noah understood, the day was nearing when the curse he had uttered in disappointment could morph into a blessing. For within the turmoil of his family lay God's redemptive purpose, and Ham's life held a divine potential far beyond the decay of rebellion. "Prepare yourselves, my sons, for God's grace is about to unfold. The coals of redemption are heated to a fervent glow, and before we know it, the dawn shall dispel despair." Noah spoke, emboldened by the leading of the Spirit. Thus, the hearts of the family burned with spiritual urgency as they awaited not only the return of Ham, but the expansive outpouring of God's covenant love. For what appeared to be destruction, God would soon turn into a restoration, illuminating the path of reconciliation amidst the shadows. And so they prayed, the atmosphere thick with faith, as the ground trembled, revealing that the hidden workings of the Almighty were unfolding. For in this waiting, the world would soon witness a plan enchanted by divine intervention where a rebellion turned redemption would reflect the very essence of God's glory. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, illuminating the mist that cloaked the earth, Noah and his family gathered before the altar, their hearts bound together in fervent supplication. The air was thick with expectancy, and the world around them seemed to hold its breath. Noah's spirit surged with a fierce determination, and he turned to his sons with words as unyielding as the wood of the ark. Today, we shall not merely wait. We shall take our stand and call upon the God of our ancestors. For as the days draw near, our actions shall ripple through the fabric of creation, he declared, each syllable weighted with the gravity of divine purpose. Shem, grasping his father's words, added, "Let us not falter, but press into the promise. Our prayers can pierce the heavens and lead our brother home." Meanwhile, Ham, isolated from his family, stood upon a rocky precipice overlooking the land, the weight of turmoil deepening within him like the shadows lengthening at dusk. "I will not be a servant to my father's covenant," he proclaimed defiantly, yet uncertainty gnawed at his heart. The chilling breath of the wind spoke of discontent, and he grappled with the kingdom he longed to create in defiance of the legacy before him, but as he gazed into the distance, memories flooded his mind, laughter shared with his brothers, the warm embrace of their father's love, and the light of God shining upon their lives. Each reminiscence struck a chord deep within, awakening a longing that called him back to the sanctuary of his family, and then, from deep within the wild, a thunderous voice echoed, "Ham, child of my promise." The ground beneath him trembled again, and he fell to his knees, the echo of divine authority resonating within him, shattering the barriers he had erected. "Who speaks?" Ham breathed, fear mingling with curiosity, his heart racing. "I am the voice that calls forth every prodigal. Return, and you shall witness the transformation of your strife into purpose," the voice continued, imbued with a compassion that pierced the darkness of Ham's heart. "What you seek is not found in autonomy, but in submission to the one who fashioned you." With a shudder, Ham felt the pressing weight of his rebellion confront him. "Is it truly possible?" he cried, yearning for the grace he believed he had forfeited. "Can the embers of my failure blaze into restoration?" Above, the heavens seemed to stir, and Noah felt a weighty assurance settle over him like a mantle. "O Lord," he intoned, "we beseech you for Ham. Show us your divine hand. May he find the courage to step back into your embrace." As the fervent prayers ascended, a flicker of movement caught Noah's eye. And there, on the edge of the horizon, a figure emerged, a silhouette tinged with a glow that dispelled the surrounding shadows. Ham, weary but resolute, was returning, the purpose of God clinging closely to his spirit. "Brothers," Ham cried, "I cannot forsake our bond. I come seeking the grace I do not deserve, led back by the whispers of mercy." Shem and Japheth rushed toward him, their eyes wide with a mixture of wonder and joy. Yet Noah stood still, a realization dawning upon him. The curse that had once escaped his lips could not seal his child's fate but instead bore the seed of an unexpected blessing. "Ham," Noah called out, tears welling as he reached out. "Our God is a God of reconciliation. What was spoken in sorrow shall give rise to a new covenant of hope." The family embraced, and in that moment, the winds shifted, carrying the fragrance of healing with them. As they knelt together, the earth trembled once more, and a great light shone from above, illuminating the skies. "Behold! The Lord's voice boomed, reverberating throughout the heavens. What man has sought to divide, I will unite. For within the lineage of man lies my plan, a promise of a Redeemer through the very blood of those who falter and rise again." As the sun settled into twilight, casting golden hues across the horizon, the path of their destinies intertwined, and the family understood that even in sorrow, God was at work, weaving a tapestry of redemption. Indeed, the day would come when through Ham's descendants, a new legacy would arise, proclaiming the unfathomable depths of God's everlasting mercy, sealing the truth that even rebellion could yield profound grace. Thus, the stage was set for a reckoning far beyond their understanding, echoing through the ages, a divine plan unfolding with every heartbeat. As dawn broke upon the horizon, bathing the earth in golden light, Noah stood upon the deck of the great ark, surveying the land that had once teemed with life. Yet now, it lay still as if bracing itself for the storm to come. The air hummed with a divine expectancy, stirring his heart to hope. Behold, Noah murmured, a whisper lifted toward the heavens, for the Lord has gathered us not for destruction alone but for a greater purpose. The words echoed in his soul, attuning him to the vastness of God's plan that lay beyond mere survival. Shem approached, his brow furrowed with concern. Father, what visions haunt your heart? Are we truly meant for something more than this isolation? Noah placed his hand upon Shem's shoulder, sensing the weight of uncertainty that had seeped into his eldest son's spirit. In times of despair, God's voice speaks of hope. We must ever seek his counsel, for a covenant awaits us, binding future generations to his promise. Meanwhile, Shem and Japheth prepared the ark for the day's work. Shem, still wrestling with the tinge of shame and the memory of rebellion, could not shake the feelings that had ignited within him during his return. Fragments of the voice in the wild echoed within him, the clarity of God's purpose dawning like the inaugural rays of sunrise. What shall I become? He whispered, a question aimed at the heavens, seeking the transformation promised through the grace he thought he had lost. As he labored, the Lord stirred in Noah's heart the necessity of reaffirmation. Gather the family, he commanded. In the shadow of the mighty ark, they converged, hearts united by an unspoken understanding, a bridge forming from the past to the hope of what was yet to come. Children of my soul, Noah began, his voice steady yet imbued with emotion, it is time for us to remember the covenant of the Lord, the one that binds our hearts and directs our paths. The sons listened intently, captivated by their father's steadiness. For he has not forsaken us, even as shadows flit about us. With the skies as their witness, Noah raised his hands, invoking the name that brings life. O God of Noah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we beseech you to reveal the depths of your heart, to show us the path of redemption that lies ahead. In that pivotal moment, the earth trembled once more. And behold, a brilliant light encircled them, casting away the shadows of doubt. The voice of the Lord resonated gently yet powerfully, creating a sacred harmony among the family. Noah, my servant, you have walked faithfully. Through you, I shall make my covenant known to the nations, and from your son's lineage shall arise a Redeemer. Each word unleashed waves of revelation upon them. A profound stillness enveloped the scene, revealing that their ordinary lives were on the precipice of an extraordinary act of divine history. Shem trembled, awakening to the enormity of the promise, a company of blessings, laden within the weight of their shared legacy. Fear not, Shem, the voice of the Lord assured, for I shall lead you back into the fold of my eternal promise. What you see as a curse, I shall transform into blessings. Your descendants shall speak my truth. A deep resolve settled upon Noah's heart as he absorbed the breadth of this revelation. Lord, your ways are far beyond our understanding, he cried, yet we yield ourselves to your sovereign will. The family knelt in unity, in awe of their renewed purpose. A palpable energy surged among them, their bond fortified by the love that transcends human understanding. As the sun continued to climb, illuminating their faces, they felt the winds of redemption swirl about them, sending whispers of hope from the heavens. Indeed, Noah proclaimed, lifting his eyes to the sky, the blood of our lineage will proclaim the glory of God brought forth through trials and strife, as the dust of the earth is transformed into everlasting life. And there hung a sweet fragrance of promise in the air, leaving them eagerly anticipating the fulfillment of what God was about to unveil, the knocking of history upon the door of time, where their faith would set the stage for his glorious plan, a plan entwined with every heartbeat, revealing that even from moments of despair, God crafts a legacy of redemption. What further wonders awaited just beyond the horizon? As the light of day flowed over the waters, Noah and his family remained gathered, their hearts aglow with the divine assurance. The brilliance of the revelation lingered, like the glimmering surface of the sea that was both tranquil and full of depth. Suddenly, the ground trembled once more beneath their feet, a reminder of the power displayed in the waters that had swelled upon the earth. With a sudden urgency in the air, Noah turned to his sons. Let us prepare ourselves, for the covenant of the Lord is not merely for us, but for generations to come. We must be vigilant and faithful in all that we do. Ham, deeply affected by the last utterance of divine promise, looked to his father, curiosity mingling with trepidation. "Father, what of the trials we shall face? How are we to stand against the shadows that threaten to envelop us?" Shem spoke with determination, his resolve ignited by the sacred moment they had witnessed. "We shall trust in the Lord's promise, for he has said he will never forsake us. Our path may be laden with trials, yet we shall rise above them." Japheth, ever the dreamer, contemplated their future legacy. "We are destined for greatness, and our names shall be remembered. Perhaps, we shall build new beginnings upon the ruins left behind." Noah's heart swelled with pride at the spirit of his sons, yet he sensed the need for solemnity. "Indeed, but hear my warning, there are pitfalls that await, even among kin. Let none forget the weight of our mission and the consequences of straying from the path of the Lord." As the day waned, a gentle breeze swept across the waters, whispering the promises of the Almighty. With profound clarity, Noah recalled the Lord's words, the assurance of redemption echoing in his heart. "Prepare yourselves, for I am called to lead a sacrifice, one that will speak the language of grace to generations unseen. For from this trial will emerge a lineage so rich in spirit that even the gates of hell shall tremble before it." At that moment, the skies darkened, a shift that stilled the air, drawing their gaze upward. A voice deep and resonant filled the void, "Noah, my faithful servant, prepare your heart, for I shall reveal the intricacies of this covenant. It is woven with the essence of your lineage, yet it demands the utmost sincerity from each of you." Noah bowed low, overwhelmed by the majesty of the divine voice that echoed in his very being. "Speak, Lord, for your servant listens. What must I do?" "Upon you and your sons rests a great responsibility," the Lord declared. "Your actions shall shape the very fabric of existence. I shall bring forth a blessing through your obedience, but not without the trials that forge true faith." Ham, wrestling with his own struggles, felt the tension of uncertainty and shame rise anew within him. "What if I falter, Lord? What if my heart strays from your voice?" He cried, his vulnerability laid bare before heaven. "Fear not, Ham," came the gentle affirmation. "For even in weakness, I shall provide strength. When you stumble, remember this moment, for it doth hold the power of redemption rooted in my love." The air shimmered with anticipation before they caught a glimpse of a great rainbow stretching across the sky. It was a divine promise against the backdrop of an ever-fickle world. Each hue reflected the glory and grace that was being prepared through them. Noah raised his face to the splendor, heartened and emboldened. "Let it be known that we shall honor this covenant through our deeds, our faith shall carve a path toward a new dawn. You shall indeed face challenges," the voice continued, "but take heart, there shall be a day when I will send forth a Redeemer from this lineage, one who shall conquer the shadows once and for all." Awash with awe, a silent agreement filled their hearts, for they understood that what lay ahead involved the merging of their collective faith with the deeper narrative of God's unfolding story, a tale echoing far beyond themselves. The vision of the covenant was solidified in a trance of light, revealing that through their perseverance, they too would become partakers in the divine narrative of human salvation. The day drew to a close, and they found themselves wrapped in a tapestry of divine mystery, grasping ever so slightly what lay ahead, yet yearning for the complete revelation of his sovereign plan. What further depths of truth would be unearthed through their coming trials, and how would the legacy of their choices impact generations yet unseen? As night fell over the renewed earth, a thick silence enveloped Noah and his family, each heart attuned to the stirrings of the Almighty. The stars began to twinkle overhead, each one a reminder of promises yet unfulfilled. Noah gathered his sons once more, their faces illuminated by the soft flicker of the altar's fire, the flames dancing as though testifying to their covenantal bond with God. "My sons," Noah began, his voice gentle yet firm, "we stand at the crossroads of redemption. The struggles we face shall not only define us but will carve a legacy for generations to come. The choice to honor the Almighty, despite our burdens, lies with us." Shem nodded, his spirit ignited by the significance of their cause. We must be vigilant against the shadows that hunger for our disunity, Father. What has been spoken in grief and sorrow can be renewed through acts of love and devotion. Indeed, Japheth added, his enthusiasm casting beams of light amidst the prevailing darkness. For we are not mere witnesses to God's promises but bearers of the legacy that shall echo through time. The dawn of something greater is upon us. Yet even as they spoke with fervor, Ham lingered at the edges, his heart a battlefield caught between promise and the spectre of shame. What if I am not worthy? He ventured, uncertainty coating his words. How can I amend the tarnished legacy I have wrought? Noah stepped closer, his fatherly gaze resting heavily upon Ham. Your worth is not measured by your past mistakes, my son, but by your willingness to seek and embrace redemption. Even the deepest scars can tell of God's grace when brought into the light. Trust in Him to renew what was lost. As these powerful words hung in the air, the fabric of night began to vibrate with expectancy, and the trembling underneath their feet spoke urgently to the heavens. Thunder rumbled softly in the distance, and a cloud advanced, darkening the sky. They knew that this night was not meant for ordinary slumber but for a divine encounter that would unveil hidden truths. Prepare your hearts, Noah instructed, his voice carrying a weight of urgency. For the Lord has declared that He shall reveal the depths of His covenant to us, and we must be ready to receive it. And it was not long before the stillness broke through a celestial light, cascading downwards, illuminating the entire landscape with a presence tinged in glory. As it enveloped them, they fell to their knees, overwhelmed by the holiness swelling around them. Fear not, chosen vessel of mine, a voice reverberated like the very earth itself. For I am with you. My plan stretches beyond the boundaries of the human heart and encompasses all creation. Through you, I shall weave a legacy of reconciliation that cleanses the soul of rebellion and renews the world in righteousness. In that sacred moment, Noah felt the weight of the words breathe life into his spirit. What shall our path be, O Lord? He implored, astonished by the divine presence around him. You have endured trials and have sought my mercy. Therefore, it is through your lineage that I shall bring forth a leader, a redeemer who will draw together all nations. In the shadows of rebellion, I craft a path toward grace. Heart swelled with longing at the revelation, yet the weight of what lay ahead cast a somber veil across them. Ham, burdened still, felt both the call to glory and the fear of unworthiness rattle in his chest. Could he truly be part of such a plan? Ham, the voice called out softly, yet undeniably. Do not shrink back from my promise. Your role in this covenant, marked by humility and growth in spirit, bears significance that time will reveal. Depravity may bloom from your past, but redemption shall shine brighter still, drawing others to my light. Noah raised his hand to the heavens, as ash and ember flickered from the altar. We will carry forth the truth of your hope, Lord. Each of us united in faith shall overcome the remnants of the curse, declaring your sovereignty over our destinies. And as Noah and his sons huddled together, the skies parted, revealing a vast, celestial expanse filled with the glory of God. In that grand tapestry, a vision was manifested, a bright path stretching far into the distance, revealing the historical journey of mankind, filled with trials, tribulations, and above all, redemption. The weight of their impending journey settled around them like the soft whisper of a breeze, heavy with promise. It echoed with a question so ripe for their understanding: could the descendants of Noah, once marked by strife, together cultivate a legacy of grace that would lead to the person who would ultimately heal the world? As the night deepened, Noah's heart resonated with fervor and faith. What is birthed through struggle shall flourish in grace. With the dawn of realization awakening within them, they understood the depth of their choices. Each decision held the potential for transformation, and they stood on the cusp of a divine narrative that would unfold in ways magnificent beyond their sight. And so, the night remained poised on the edge of revelation, as their spirits sang in harmony with hope. The divine promise hovered, inviting them to take their rightful place in the unfolding saga of God's sovereign plan, weaving together the fabrics of grace and redemption that transcended time. Where would their journey lead as the dawn approached? Only the coming days would unveil the purposes of the Almighty, cloaked still in mystery, yet bursting with potential.